happening, family? This is your man, CRB Jr., Courtney Robert Brown Jr. here at Motown Mafia Podcast. Of course, a Big Boss Filmworks production. We hope everybody is well out there as we approach this holiday weekend. We got two special guests, one returned by popular demand. We got Big Lou, the other half of Big Boss Filmworks. He's holding down the studio right now. What up, Brother Lou?
Hey, what's happening, everybody?
So it is all good. But yeah, we're going to do a little bit of higher level conversation today. And of course, we're going to keep it real and about life in the struggle, which has always been the mantra of what we do here at Big Boss Filmworks through our podcast, Motown Mafia. So let me start off. We're going to do Beauty Before Cool, Brother GQ. New to the platform. First time here, and we are so happy to have her, and we really looking forward to her insights. She is not just another pretty face, but a pretty face with some brains. We have, let me not, because despite we was just talking that I know how to talk. Damien?
Yes, you got it right.
Oh, see what to see. Product of that good schooling, the white folks. Thank you, Mr. White Folks, for teaching me how to read right. Thank you, Mr. White Folks.
Well, black people taught me how to read.
Right, okay, and they say, for my relatives down south, them was good white folks. Yeah, good white. They wasn't like the others. These was good white folks. Thank you all, good white folks out there. Danny and Woodson,
yes.
Attorney at law.
Yes.
Practicing here in the city of Detroit. Welcome to have you here. We're going to give people a little backstory here. And then on the other end there, we got Brother GQ, sure. World famous detective, police officer, narcotics unit out of the city of Detroit. Was here during the heyday of Detroit, and career ran all the way from its heyday to sometimes some of the city's demise. When did you left right at the bankruptcy, or right before, or right after the bankruptcy?
Right before.
Right before.
That was smart.
Yeah,
you got all the pension.
You got all your pension. Shout out to GQ and all those brothers who
Happy Memorial Day. I get it in before the holiday.
That's right. That is right. So welcome back, family.
I appreciate you, my man. For real.
How you been?
Good. Doing good.
I was speaking to our partner in crime, Al Prophet. He gave his regards. I told him he was going to be on the pod today. Okay. Shout out to Al Prophet, Scott Bernstein. Shout out to Eddie Baby. He was just there. Eddie went back. He really wanted to be here to come.
Oh,
man. Ready to pick it up. We're going to put that together. We're going to put that together. He really enjoyed the work that you did on the pod. Sure. And all that. But let's get to our special guest. Miss Woodson, you are an attorney.
Yes, I am. I've been an attorney for 17 or 18 years now.
18 years. Wow. When you start practicing law when you was 10?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. You native Detroiter?
Yes, I am. Born and raised Northwest Detroit.
Northwest Detroit. All right. West Side in the house. That's a good thing. You started off your schooling where?
This is where I'm losing the street cred. I started off in private school from kindergarten through 6th grade. I did 7th and 8th grade DPS. Then I went to private school for high school.
Well, see, okay, so let me ask you this, because I left Detroit Public Schools early, after 1st grade.
Okay.
And so kindergarten and 1st grade was Detroit Public School. And when I got to school in the suburbs, I was already at a huge disadvantage in just 2 years.
Oh, wow.
Really, I went from the smartest. I went from the smartest 1st grader to the slowest 2nd grader.
Oh, no.
Yeah. It was traumatizing.
It's at that age, yeah.
Yeah, so Detroit Public Schools had you prepared to go compete once you went out to the fancy schools?
7th and 8th grade, I'm going to say the foundation from K through 6, not to short 7th and 8th grade, because if it hadn't been for the 7th and 8th grade, I wouldn't have gotten to Cranbrook. My 8th grade teacher told me to apply to Cranbrook. I was going to go to Country Day. She's like, no, Cranbrook. And I decided to go to Cranbrook.
And for those of you who don't know, I think I'm in the Detroit area, Cranbrook is not just one of the best high schools in Michigan. It's one of the best high schools in the United States, and actually in the world. Yeah, it's somewhat parallel. Okay, so after Cranbrook,
Howard.
All right, shout out to the Mecca, to the Bisons, to the big Howard fan.
Yeah.
Go Bisons. Okay, and what'd you study at Howard?
I studied international business with a focus in finance.
Okay, were you still thinking about being a lawyer then?
I was not. I wanted to do the mergers and acquisitions in New York and stuff like
You was about to go get the bread.
I was.
Then you wanted to help somebody.
I did.
That's when it all go wrong, GQ. She stopped. She was on the right track. She was about to go get the bag. Then somebody told her, you can save some of these niggas out here. Go do the right thing.
I love y'all though, but yeah.
I just is true. My sister's attorney, as we were saying, off camera, and she was just going to change the world and make everything right. And so my mother, well, obviously, was married to my father, so you know the backstory there. She had her go talk to her preacher to try to explain to her the reality, the real world, GQ, the real world. And you know what the preacher told her?
What?
Baby, you got to go get you some money, then you can help somebody.
That's right.
That's because you remember what Jesus said, the poor gonna always be with us. So you can't change that. The poor go, and I remind people that is in the scriptures. You know, you can't do nothing with that. You know, don't worry yourself too much with that. That's beyond your pay grade. If you think you want to get rid of poor people,
No, I don't want to get rid of poor people. I just want to help our people.
okay, maybe who at some time are poor.
Yeah, that's the challenge.
Okay, so we give up on making soft money on Wall Street, and then you decided to go to law school.
Yes, at Michigan State. Go Spartans.
Go Spartans, go Spartan, go green, go white. I'm matriculated at Michigan State for 1 year.
Why did you leave? Business card.
It was time to punch the clock for the family.
Oh, okay.
Time to punch the clock for the family. Yeah. I left after my junior year planning on coming back to finish my senior year. Mm-hmm. And then I grew up. It was time to wire money out the country to the Bahamas. So dealing with crooked bankers, and Daddy introducing me to the people in his world, and it was just. I ended up moving to New York, and then I met Artie. No, moved to New York and I met Artie years later. But I had a good time at Michigan State. Even though I was a wayward student there. I was a very wayward student.
It is one of those places that it is easy to become wayward.
And it was a big market full of kids that like to get high.
No comment.
Okay. So I took advantage of it. Okay, so we get out of Michigan State. Then what do we do? Get out of Michigan State Law School, that is.
Yes. Then we come back to Detroit and we start working at the Defender's Office for Wayne County.
Okay. So after GQ has arrested these gentlemen,
A lot of them.
a lot of them,
I'll let them right back out the door.
you know,
Right.
and see, okay, so tell me, all right, so how much communication do the cops do you in the defender's office do you have with the police officers?
I think it depends on the attorney. Like for me, I talk to everybody because I feel like if I'm talking to you and I think I'm one of those people that's kind of disarming, when people see me, they don't see me as someone who's really thinking like 3 steps ahead. So it's easy to talk to people about life, and then we start talking about the case. And I get little nuggets that I wouldn't necessarily get out of a police report. And then when I get you on that stand, you're going to regret telling me those nuggets, but it's okay.
But it's okay.
She's probably 2-8 against us. Well, I should say 2-8 against me.
Against you.
Yeah.
But, I mean, okay, most people cop out, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. If it's a simple case, yeah. A lot of them.
Yeah. I don't like that, but
You were saying that you enjoy going to trial.
I do. I think that trials are really where you see change. Like, I hate to say it because it was such a sad event, but during the pandemic, when you couldn't go to trial, you saw really people doing justice. You saw people actually evaluating cases and trying to make a deal or an offer or dismissing stuff that really didn't need to go on because they knew at one point all these cases are going to come back to court in addition to the cases that are still going on. I don't know where that went now, but that was going on about 1 or 2 years ago. Not to the extent that it needs to go on, but it was a start. I don't know why it stopped, but it needs to come back and it needs to move, get more momentum.
So most of your cases, you had a high conviction. Did you have a high conviction rate?
Oh, yeah. Man. I'll say about, now she disagreed, but we discovered her. Understand me?
Right.
See, because we went to court every day. She wasn't too bad on the eyes. Now, all this Cranberg shit, I didn't really
You didn't know about
all that.
We didn't know.
Right, we didn't care nothing about that. But what the people don't know is that police officers and attorneys, we all hang out. And we become friends.
Yeah.
And sometimes it be a favor.
Yeah, like, lunchtimes.
Yeah, we go out, we go to parties, they come to our party,
their
party and all that stuff, and we get to know the officers.
So it's kind of a community within a community. And I like that because a lot of times when you go to trial, because people see stuff on TV and they expect that animosity, if I'm in the courtroom with a prosecutor and I'm talking to them and we're laughing and joking and the jury sees it, they think, okay, this case isn't that serious. So that's already an advantage for my client. I'm all about field position.
So we could be hanging out on Friday and Monday. I see you in court. So I'm like, hey, we had a good time. And then she tell my ass up on the stand. I'm like, you dirty mother.
Because sometimes you got to get on the stand if it goes to trial, right?
And all that other stuff, that personal relationship, it goes out the window. Because you really want to talk about, it's not what we say on the paper or what we write. That's our story. It's about what can be proven.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It's what can be proven. And we just enforce the law. We don't interpret it. So a lot of times we think it's a slam dunk. Like we talk about, is this my cup?
It depends.
On what?
On whether or not you know what's in the cup, and whether or not you got dominion and control over your cup. Just because it's in your area doesn't mean it's your cup.
That's right. That could be a kilo of cocaine. Right there.
Wow. So you got to the defense attorney office in what year?
2005. No, I'm sorry, 2006. We getting 2006.
You were still on the force in 2006?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So 2006. We had
blazing.
We had pretty much got over the crack era.
Yeah.
Have we?
Yeah.
Well,
I saw a decline in the late 90s. I saw it doing the numbers.
Yeah.
A lot of it was, when did they close the welfare, independent welfare?
That was about somewhere between like 92 and 95.
Right. So it took that independent check of the single man, single woman without children could get welfare refund.
Right.
You remember that?
Oh,
England.
The streets dried up significantly.
And it was more so
very angry about that legislation.
Getting people off of drugs too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's an every 2 week.
Something people don't talk about.
What's that?
Dope dealers back in the day used to vote, and they were involved in what was going on in the community. They didn't just sit around.
Well, I think dope, for lack of a better word, the dope man used to be a part of the community.
Right. Yeah.
As we were speaking when GQ was there, I mean, we used to sponsor.
Pal.
I remember. I used to have a neighbor on my street, and she used to sell pills. She worked for a pharmacist, and she used to sell pills out the back of the pharmacy. And she and her boss and some other people used to sponsor a PAL League up at Peterson Park every year. They had the nicest in Peterson.
So,
let me just interject this in right quick. Mm-hmm. You know, that sometimes that folks think that your local police officers are the one that really send you to prison on those drug cases. It's the feds.
It is the feds.
Yes, they pick up the case, and we're just pawns, man.
Yeah,
we're just pawns, just trying to do a job. You don't get no time with us, really. I mean, I've locked up guys with 1,000 pounds of weed, man. Slap on the wrist. Stay up underneath. You stay up underneath that radar.
Yeah. If you could stay on the state side, you could.
I was gonna say my whole life, we always knew. I mean, our God is good, knock on wood. I always knew if I ended up going to jail, it was gonna be the feds to put me in jail. You know.
Yeah.
And that it wasn't gonna be the local. And right, and all things relative, you guys are a lot fairer than the feds are.
That's right. You know, life.
Yeah, because the feds don't really want to cut you any breaks unless you want to snitch on everybody.
That's right.
Yeah.
650. Life.
With no possibility of parole. What in the world? Who could think of such a thing?
Once you started making laws like that,
Right.
Yeah, that was your.
once laws started being made like that, that's when you started seeing an increase in homicide because people started valuing life less.
Yeah.
If I get more time for selling dope than killing you,
What is going on? And
why not just make money off of killing you?
That's right. That's real talk there. That's real talk.
it does say something about a society that will punish you more, which led to people from my world saying it is obvious that society is saying the worst thing in the world is a black man trying to get some money. Because if I kill another black man, I'll do less time than getting caught out here hustling. So what exactly we say? What message were we sending? But kind of back, we were talking off camera about some things, the way our neighborhoods used to function and how they are now. The policeman and the dope man back in the day both wanted the same thing for the young people on the block. They both wanted them not to, the dope man didn't want those kids not to have to be the dope man like him.
Exactly.
And wanted them to stay out the way of the policeman. The policeman on the block didn't want to one day have to be locking this knucklehead up. And wanted him to stay out the way and go live a nice, happy, productive life. So then you ask yourself, what happens fast forward now, where the policeman no longer live in the neighborhood and the dope man has no responsibility or connection or he's not even a part of the community. He's a parasite in the community because and I can say it. I mean, I think I'm in a position to say it. You know, all you do in your neighborhood is sell dope. You are a parasite. If you're not recycling any of that money, if it is all about you want to sell drugs so you can drive a nice car and take your money to the Arabs and throw it up in the air, and nobody on your block can come get tuition money, rent money, then
What happened to those days, man?
See, that's when I think that's when the sense of community was greater. And it's like we were talking about. You had the preacher, the dope man, the numbers man. Those are the ones who kept the community fighting. You could always go to one or all of them to get your needs met. And the more we started moving away from our neighborhoods and our community and integrating into other neighborhoods and community, the less we cared about those who needed that help. And so it got a lot easier to say no because you're not saying no to your neighbor. You're saying no to somebody you don't want to come move into your new neighborhood.
So, right, if you read our book, it's available on Amazon, Getting Off Zero, Get Your Mind Right, Get Your Money Right. I believe, yes, chapter 2, page 27 is The Curse of Integration. And we talk about what would the block look like if GQ lived on the same street as I lived on, and Lou lived on, and the funeral home owner lived on, and the preacher lived on, right? If Pastor Winan or Pastor Kinlock, or who's down at Greater Grace, or Pastor Ellis, or it was Second Ebenezer, Pastor Vance, it's over Second Ebenezer. If y'all still lived, put on, right? And Big Meech all lived on the same street, you'd have a very stable neighborhood.
Yeah,
Good.
his mom and their parents, from what I heard.
Yeah, and that's when
The parents still lived down there.
Meech and them.
I tell you.
And was always church
And
neighborhood.
shout out to them.
And shout out to the whole BMF family, to Meech and T,
Yeah.
and Little Meech, and we looking forward to season 3. And we was just down in the projects talking to KK. Shout out to the big homie KK.
Okay.
Yeah, and really helped him and his brother Lawrence helped Meech and T get their thing really going. Yeah, a couple from church going family, and still live right there in Southwest Detroit, and been part of the community.
About the 80s.
but that's the thing.
And that's
Like
why you talk to
pastors used to
people down
live
there.
in the
You're
neighborhood.
not gonna find nobody saying that.
But now that you have these mega churches, the pastors don't live in the neighborhood, so there's no vested interest in buying up the houses in the neighborhood to providing low-income housing for the members of the church.
That's right.
That used to happen. That happened at my church, but I grew up in.
Buy the whole block.
Yeah, they would buy the whole block. I remember when our church used to organize marches, to protest drug dealers moving into certain neighborhoods and stuff like that, and organizing peace treaties with different gangs and things that were trying to come up in the neighborhood around the church. You don't see that anymore.
No.
You see 5 churches on the same block. They all little storefront churches, and none of them are working together to do nothing. And then you see all these overrun lots in and around the churches, and it's just ignorant.
I mean, the family ended up getting a real estate portfolio of houses because they were buying houses for friends and families to live in.
Yeah.
Before they looked up, we owned 15 houses.
Because back then it doesn't make sense for me to have all of this and everybody I live and associate with is still starving.
Mm-hmm.
Now, people don't necessarily care about that. It's just, look what I got, get like me.
And I was always taught, I can't enjoy my steak if everybody around me is hungry and keep looking at my steak.
Right.
For me really to be able to enjoy my steak, I need to get you one and get you one, then we can all have ourselves a nice time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, so 2006, crack era is a little bit over. You got the children. You are getting the first generation of the children of the crack era. I hate to say it, but you're dealing with the crack babies now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's right.
You kind of saw that, GQ, right?
I did. It's I don't have any children, for sure, but I have a niece and nephew and got quite a few cousins. I got a big family, so I saw it, family members, experimenting with drugs, but I have never seen it like this now. And I see it more now because I'm retired, and I'm gonna be a Detroiter to the day I die now. No time soon, for sure. But
Yeah. These drugs with our young people, I don't know why the people won't talk about it. I mean, well, you're seeing it, you're still practicing. I mean,
Yeah.
how often is people being under the influence involved with their criminality?
A lot, unfortunately. I mean, even if it's not the actual case, and I mean, I hate to say it, but I saw it a lot on Zoom during the pandemic. Like, you have people who are on Zoom, lighting up, smoking weed, waiting for their case to be called.
Wow. I'm blazing before trial.
Yeah,
nobody's talking about this type
and
of
the
stuff
thing
like
is,
that.
like getting high used to be a stigma. Now it's like a social thing.
Or
Like,
even a
now
bad
you
job.
see people getting high on live on social media. Like, that used to never happen. Like, you didn't want people to know you got high.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So I think that shift in the community, and not just our community, but just in society in general, I think it just kind of changes how people look at drugs. Like you were just saying, when we were off camera, like, no one wanted to be the dope user. Some people wanted to be the dope seller, but no one wanted to be the dope user.
Right.
And now it's like,
It's okay to be Pookie.
well, maybe not Pookie, but
Even though they headed to be Pookie.
Right.
yeah,
And for you guys too young, we're talking about the classic movie.
New Jack City.
And we were talking, we were talking off camera, because actually Mario Van Peebles said, like, shout out to Dr. Carl Taylor, worked with us on our first doc. They came to see Detroit and how it was going down. It's really what gave them the idea of the effects of crack and all that. Even though it was set in New York,
Right.
they did the research for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a city of hustlers.
It's a city, yeah.
Hard as hustlers.
Yeah.
And they it's so multifaceted that the hustle mentality runs through Detroit.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
doubt.
Time.
But
Terrible.
what I mean,
They
you
don't
know what? We real people should us. Wait a minute. We was just wait a minute. I was in market. Let me tell you something. We was just talking about this is a town. This is a town where you got people who like
All my clients are innocent of these accusations and allegations.
This is a town where people own homes, own cars, and don't know their social security number. They've never filled out a job application.
Credit card.
I've got friends that 800 credit scores. They don't even know they have, but the thing is, they don't even know they have an 800 credit score because they pay for everything in cash. I just described a couple of friends and family. They went to buy a car. They was like, I just cash it out. And the man was like, oh, let's just see this. Like, nah, I just cash it out. And then the man ran the credit. He's like, you know, you have an 825. What's that? He's like, you can get the car with no money down. And then Cubs was like, but one day I gotta pay for it. I might as well pay for it. He was like, so. Then he was like, well, because you know, in my line of work, we chicken goes south tomorrow. I might run into GQ tonight. It might not be in a pot of soul. No, we just need to pay cash for this now.
Not to discredit the hustlers all over. It's urban. New York, California, you know.
Shout out to the New York hustlers.
Appreciate y'all, but you know, I'm telling you, it's a certain type of, what you call it? It's a certain type of
we got a certain breed.
fever in this motherfucker.
I wouldn't say this because, you know.
Generational. It's a generational thing here.
It is because it's new. But also just Detroit men date differently than other men. I would say.
Oh, we gotta get into that. So, you open it up. Go ahead and please elaborate.
Right.
Esquire.
From the personal standpoint or lawyer standpoint?
Both. I mean, I'm a lawyer, so, but yeah, I mean, I just noticed like, and I've heard this from my friends too who live out of state or who moved out of state. Like Detroit men go all out. They really do. Like you might only get one good date out of them because they ain't got money like that, but that's gonna be a great date.
Oh, that's us. We gonna do it.
Yeah.
We gonna do it. I mean, yes. We.
At that end of that, week?
Yeah, you might not see him another day for another.
He gotta get another lit. He gotta get him a lit. He gotta get another lit before he call you.
Right, exactly.
All right, you be like, we call me back. He like, oh, mama, no, you know that day we went on 70 better, but I'm back right now. What you doing? What you doing? I'm about to walk through. I'm good, man. Yeah. That's really the talent. That's how we do it. That's how we do it here. So we get into by 2006 again the reality of a lot of people got locked up in the 80s and 90s. We're seeing the game has changed, hustlers have changed. Unfortunately, now you're dealing with a different quality of criminal.
Yeah.
GQ, you saw the quality of criminal you arresting going down.
Yeah, in the 90s, marijuana was a big thing, and I know Tommy. He got here, he sound bites. Tommy Hodges is nothing personal, homeboy.
Shout out.
Yeah, glad he's back home doing well and shit like that. But
anytime you come home,
and Lewis, they were getting money, man, selling that weed, and we just back then they were getting money. Cocaine money, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's in the 90s and the 2000s, I think, right?
People didn't realize how much money people selling marijuana were making. Until guys like Tommy, those cases came, and when the people started going to like, oh my.
Right.
A lot of people in this town smoke weed, obviously.
Right, so that was, and then the early 2000s, and we didn't even, man, we hit a crib over here on Schoolcraft. And I want to say Schoolcraft and, Winthrop.
Was that in 2006?
Yeah, it was close there. And
was it like 98 tons of weed?
No.
Okay, because I had one of those cases.
98 tons?
Yes, and the guy jumped bail right before the feds picked up the case from the state. He was.
I'm sorry, you almost had me to have a hustler's relapse. I was like 98 tons.
A ton over 3,000.
That was 1,000.
2,000.
2,000 pounds. I was like, 98 tons. Oh, Lord help me.
What crew that was?
No, like CT. I was going to say back before we get off track, you talked about New York hustlers, and I know you've been in contact with them. And I don't know if you're following. Shout out to Cavario.
Oh, yeah.
Cavario's doing some great interviews over there on.
We buying some books today after this interview. We're gonna buy some books from him. We're gonna cash app him for sure. I appreciate you, boy. Love you.
Yeah. Cavario, just a stand-up guy, and I love the work you're doing, bro. You know, when you are interviewing people from our world, it's such a different thing when somebody from our world is talking to the people, and you're adding great value to that station. Again, shout out to the homie Cavario on that. When you said New York hustlers, it made
absolutely that brother for sure. You know, thank God for him, man.
Yeah, and we gonna do some linking up very soon. Very soon.
But I was talking about that raid.
Okay.
This is in the late 2000s, right? So the guy hyped me up. He said, "Man, it's about $2 to $5 million worth of drugs in there." Of course, being a little slow. Didn't know the pill game had slipped right up on our nose. We chasing cocaine and heroin, right? Man, we went in that house.
It's a new Boston town.
Listen here, man.
Yeah.
Mad than a motherfucker. We went in there, man. There was like 5 guys in there. Didn't find a bit of cocaine. I called the man up. I said, "You dirty motherfucker." He said, "Man, what are you talking about?" I said, "Man, ain't shit in here." He said, "I just left it. I just left that crib, man. It's a bunch of shit in there." You know what he was talking about?
Them pills.
Yeah, we was looking for cocaine. We had pounds and pounds of pills, man. We didn't even know what the fuck it was.
Pounds of pills.
Pounds and pounds of pills, man. We gave all them motherfuckers misdemeanor tickets.
I know they love y'all that.
Yeah, he said, "You dumb, stupid." He said, "You call it."
So I remember about that era, because I pretty much by 2001 had transitioned out the street. Maybe it was still dibbling and dabbling, but by 2002, I met Lou. He came and helped me show a new way with a pair of hands. Shout out to Lou. No, but right when me and Lou crossed. About when I opened up the store at Fairlane, I had really pretty much
got out of it.
I come to the conclusion what we did. Lord knows what we didn't make. Because you had asked me a question, and I'll be real. I'll tell the answer to the family out there. I told to you. You said you asked me if I've been a millionaire in life, and I said, and if I've been broke in life, I've said I've been a millionaire 3 different times in life. I've gone broke 3 different times in life. By 2002, I realized what we didn't save, what we squandered, what we jacked off, that it got too late in the game to go do 20 years.
Oh, that's why.
And it was time to do something different. And the twos and fews we had put aside and some of the assets we'd accumulated over the years, that's gotta be good enough.
We all here, brother.
And we here
for sure.
And right, and so many people along that journey ain't here.
Yeah.
So I was going somewhere with this. Coming back to the appeal thing that I was speaking about, the youth at the same time when I was transitioning out the street and had that epiphany that it was time to get out the street. But I was still, just the world I come from. And so the guys were starting to tell me, they were, "Oh, big homie, man, we just went down to West Virginia, yeah, we doing this, we doing that, we going to Kentucky, and then they were telling me, and at first I'm like you, they telling me I'm from the heroin cocaine era, and then I'm like, there ain't no money here, what the fuck? I'm like that. So they end up with me, nephews start telling me the money. They were like, "No, man, we just came back from Kentucky. We had $155,000. I said, "Hold on, say that again now." Like, man, we made $155,000
in a weekend.
Yeah.
I said, "But right." They're like, "Oh, wait, but homie, you left Thursday, nephew. It's Tuesday."
We didn't see, because we weren't talking about the narcotics division. We wasn't hip to the pill game like that. You hear me? Here in Detroit, they would take them and take them down south.
Mm-hmm.
So when they come back, I mean, they wasn't like that cocaine. That kind of swayed away from that cocaine thing, and it wasn't like prominent like it was. You know what I'm saying?
And I think what it seems like happened, because a lot of them were still some guys that were transitioning out of heroin and cocaine into pills, right? Mm-hmm. But then that next generation after them started actually using the pills.
Yeah. It goes back to that integration thing. white people have always done harder drugs than black people.
Always.
And when you start partying with them, you start doing what they do. And they've been having pill parties since I was in high school.
Well, you speak for yourself.
I mean, what you would see?
Because I'm
You want-
next. We ain't
The private school kids are getting so much higher than the public school kids.
But now with
It's prevalent.
everything is crossing over now. Like there's no more big division between private school kids, public school kids, white kids, black kids. It's all integrated, especially with social media. Like, you know,
Yeah.
you would change schools and lose half your friends. Now you don't do that.
I never thought about that.
Listen, right.
That's a big deal.
You know, you're a smart gal.
You should become a lawyer. You could be a lawyer. You know that?
No, he's about a judge.
A judge, all right?
That's the next step for y'all, Damien.
Good, because we need some people like you because, but yeah, and so bouncing back to that integration thing, or lack their integration. People used to, when you had a community and you see somebody, I just can't imagine back in the day, one of the kids popping pills and nobody in the neighborhood saying, hey, what they doing down at that house?
Yeah.
Now, I mean, it's something that for us all to ask ourselves, what has happened to our community that we've gotten so okay that we turn a blind eye to what is obvious, GQ, right? These kids are out there.
Well, it's kind of an evolution, right? Because back in the day, even if you sold drugs, you couldn't sell it in your neighborhood. Then it became cool to sell in your neighborhood, but not in front of your mama's house. Then there was that one house that you could do everything at. You could sell use drugs at. And then slowly but surely, those houses became a block.
Became the block.
And then those blocks became a neighborhood. And so now that's the new community.
I'm gonna add to that. Come on.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of folks. I'm an inner city. I'm born and raised Monterey and Dexter. You know, a lot of those who made it.
Shout out to YBI.
Oh, yeah. I just talked to Timmy today.
No. Shout out to Slim.
Yeah, Kurt McGregor, all them guys. Yeah, sure go.
Yeah.
Man, for those that went to college, see, the hood guys, children, we didn't know nothing about that. But how many times you often hear or have heard somebody drop a Mickey in his or her drink? A lot of that shit come from college.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it filtered right back into the hood. They say, hey, man, you know, because college, you know, your psychic and your culture, you see so much. It's different from being in there. Because when you're in the hood, you're restricted to certain things, right?
Yeah, and to your point, you know, you go away to college, you get high, you come back to the neighborhood, you run into the dope man, you ask him, hey, you got this? What is that? Now he going to go.
That's right.
He gonna send something back.
That's how that shit works.
Now you got people getting kicked out of school because they want to hustle.
So that's right.
Their habit.
Demetrius Gould.
So it all kind of cycles.
To score a hell of a basketball player.
Hey.
On that note, Big Man on Campus also available on Amazon, which is the story. But it's about my character based on me in college who went away to school and then all the kids were getting high.
That's right. See that?
Then I said to myself, you guys are buying very expensive, low quality drugs, and I can help you guys. I can help. But with that, so many brothers in that 80s going to college end up getting caught up.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, guys that were good kids.
White County.
In those white county, Kalamazoo and Ingham County. Kalamazoo County. And I literally, as Lucy's heard the story a million times.
Do you know why?
Yeah.
Because it was always keep that shit in Detroit with them niggas.
So, I mean, literally, I had this conversation with my friends in Kalamazoo, and then when I transferred, I said, hey, fellas, because they started coming just like I'm dressed now, like, wearing chains and why, and I would say, hey, man, we not back home, y'all. I said, we not back home, y'all can't carry it like that. I mean, they was coming to the campus bars, pulling out knives, and I said, hey, man.
And already bad.
And a brother told me, say, man, next year you ain't gonna have all the business to yourself. I said, no, you're going to have it because I'm not doing nothing up here no more because you guys,
fuck it up.
y'all made it hot up here.
Right, yeah.
And they was like, you going to give up all that money? I was like, bruh,
I got to.
I've been, I've been around the corner.
Native Detroit is wherever we go, we blow the fucking spot up.
Man, because we overdo it. Same way she said about that first date. We got to overdo it. Now, you couldn't just take... You couldn't just take it to Outback. No, you had to take it first day. We going to the Whitney, baby. Then we going to the club. We going shopping. We drinking champagne day one.
It's like
That's why we got to blow up the spot.
yeah, if you go out of town, I'm just saying, if you go out of town and you see that one person, especially depending on the age, if they're a little older and they match from head to toe in one color, especially they accented with some gators that are matching hat.
You already know. We gonna be coordinated.
So y'all, where y'all need to be. Detroit is for sure. Let's just tone it down a little bit. Be cool a little bit. Be cool. Be cool.
Who we got there? You know, we do this live. Let's see. Is that one of your people?
Yeah.
Okay, let them in.
So,
Oh, yeah. All right, that's a good thing. Yeah. We it's I think it's a whole city too. When we talk about the integration, you know, what's happening, fam?
you got dressed up. Look.
Detroiter. We already know where you're from. Cartier's, Montclair, Gucci. Where else that nigga from? Where else he from? Where else that nigga from? That nigga from Detroit. If he ain't from here, he's a liar. And he's a liar. And the truth ain't in him.
Shout out to you, homeboy.
Yeah, you represent that
for sure.
Yeah. But you know, it's a down south town.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Here, you know, came from down south. And
That's why they got that from.
they come from down south.
New York says y'all country.
We country.
What you talking about country?
But
A little bit.
but because of the factory jobs they came up here for, they blacks end up doing really well.
Very well.
This is not so.
Very well.
By the time we even came along GQ, brothers expected to do well and to look well, and we was gonna do well and
Good mothers. Fathers, too.
real community. And because they had that down south community,
Yeah.
you know, we were saying, and you know, I know some of the young people out there, it ain't nothing square about church and community, you know. And again, that's where I'm coming from, you know.
Right.
I ain't telling you don't sell. I ain't telling you to do or not do anything, but I'm gonna say what the old folks used to tell me: it ain't what you do,
It's how you do.
it is how you.
Same thing with corn liquor. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Down
A lot of
south.
brothers made a lot of money
Ain't
going.
that motherfucker cool liquor.
And we been getting money down south. You know, they used to call the black number man. He was the worst thing in the world. Even
I
though
can't-
he's the one that financed half these churches.
Yes.
Right? We were talking about the Holy Trinity, right? The number man, the preacher, and the funeral parlor. And if you talk to some of the people in this town, when you drive by, whether it be the Swansons or Diggs, or ask them the history, Coles, ask them the history of those 4 or 5 generations.
Right.
You're going to find the number man story. Because
We're gonna have them to come on the show.
who used to, Miss Jones was a good member of the community. She didn't transition. We ain't got no money to put her away. Who the family go talk to?
The number man.
No,
But you know,
Yeah.
they not even had to even call because he or she may have just said, "Hey, look here, I heard what
you
happened."
wasn't gonna have to call. I already know what your situation is. I'm here to pay my condolences and slide the family an envelope. You know, it Pops and Eddie and them back in their day. It was no. If somebody done bought dope for you for 20 years, and they family passed, and you know better than anybody what the situation in the house is.
Why not?
And you guess what, family? Back in the day, that service was on you.
Not.
No, the fellas it's gonna be a talk. Hey man, your people down there, you gotta take care of that.
You gotta take care.
You gotta take care of that.
Fine.
They really used to be, and that's all some of the stuff we lost.
Mm-hmm.
You know, man, it's politics and everything that we do. That's a way of life. It's personal affairs. That's all this whole thing is.
Yeah.
Personal affairs. I can call you CB Junior, Dane. I can call you. You can call me. Say, hey, man, I'm in the jam. Can you help me?
Mm-hmm.
you willing to help me? That's all this is. Everything in life, and we got to get back into that.
Well, I think that still goes on. I just think some people, I don't want to say throw rocks and hide your hands because that's not quite it. But it's like some people put on a public front, but then they're doing private deals that don't really go with the public agenda. And I think when you continue to do that, eventually the public agenda just goes to shit.
Yeah.
Can I say that?
Oh, yeah, we cuss on here. No cussing on this motherfucking platform. That shit. So with that, we had two cities, seem like to me. And people, I was just recently outlet when I moved from the riverfront. I tell people I live down the riverfront. They'd be like, "You don't live in Detroit." We're like, "It's off Jefferson." They'd be like, "But that ain't Detroit." And I'm like, "Well, I got a store. I got a
Livonia is not Detroit.
right." But
I'm not even South here, actually.
we might as well just bring it up. So I was saying on my way here, I passed about 4 different police cars. Both police cars had 2 white gentlemen, 2 officers in there. And I was coming from basically like Brightmoor through the back door to get here on 7 Mile. So these are not the integrated parts of the city. This is not Midtown, or downtown, or even the North End. So where are we headed in this town if we're gonna have people from outside the community doing all the policing of the community?
I think it's gonna go right back to right before the riots, back in the '60s.
Big 4 days? We headed back to the big 4? It was strapped.
Well, I don't know about riots like that because I don't think people. I hate to say it, but I don't think this community is as passionate as that one. So I don't think it'll necessarily come to that.
Right.
But I do think there is going to be a big division between residents of Detroit and police officers in Detroit. And I think that happened when you got rid of the residency requirement.
Definitely.
I think when you had police who had to live in the city that they policed, they cared more and their approach to things were different. Because now I'm dealing with my neighbor, not just some case number or some random individual.
Throughout most of your career, there was the residency requirement. When we say resident requirement, I mean if you were a fireman.
Dennis Archer and Governor Engler.
Ended that.
Yep. And that was a demise of the city, man. And I and nothing to say bad about Dennis Archer at all.
No, in fact, shout out to the son. It's a friend of mine.
Right.
This guy, Dennis. Shout out to Dennis Jr.
Time that there were a lot of the officers, and they found it unconstitutional.
The requirement.
To live in wherever you work. So
they've done some things to try to sweeten it, haven't they? You get some tax breaks or something.
But not enough, man. It's
You live in
school
the
systems.
Yeah.
That's a lot of cops' kids. And I ain't trying to, not kids, but children are bad, man. We're bad. Are bad. Tell you what I know. For real. So a lot of, they fled. And, Coleman Young, may God rest his soul, he had that residency unit. He catch you outside that city, you live outside that city, he'll fire you.
I remember back in the day, it was always a good thing to have a cop who lived on your block because that meant there would be a police car there.
All the time.
So
Right.
the chances often. But the B&E man's not coming on the street where you see the police car.
Right.
You just don't work that way.
Yeah, I just, James Craig, I retired up under him. I really don't know him at all, but up under him, it's been an influx of white officers coming on the gig, and I don't know why that is. However, from what I've heard, that the criteria of black folks coming on the job is high. Smoking weed and all that type of stuff. Some things that domestic violence, misdemeanor tickets, but they hold it so high, man, that people are really don't want to come on the job. So they need to change that a little bit. They have to. They have to because there's not enough of us.
So our plan. So what do we got to do so that more of our young ladies want to grow up to be intelligent, beautiful black women and become lawyers, to actually attempt to do your best to serve the community, and our young men to know that it is. I mean, I come from a generation where you guys wanted to become policemen.
Police, fire, lawyers, doctors.
I mean, yeah, that's because those were things that you knew you could have a long career and be able to provide for your family.
And a pension.
There was a pension. Yeah. I don't know how they seemed like they were trying to do some recruiting in the high schools.
Yeah, it's just I think that, and I have to say this, we had some poor leadership, man. CB June.
Yeah.
Poor.
I agree, and I think it's getting worse. I mean, I think that, I hate to say this, but I think black people sometimes get caught up in not realizing how good they have it. Like, we were the only majority black city with all black government, and we lost that. And I don't think we're gonna get that back.
We did not realize what we had in the 70s and 80s, even through probably the mid 90s. As I say, there used to be a time when you knew if you didn't know the police chief or the lieutenants or the commanders, you knew somebody who knew them. Mm-hmm. The judges at Recorder's Court. Mm-hmm. You could go down to City Hall and it wasn't that much different. Same people you saw, like you were saying, you guys hang out together. Mm-hmm. You could go to the local bar and see the same people. I mean, my great uncle Arthur used to drink at the Chesterfield Lounge when Coleman Young is mayor. Coleman be at the Miller reunion with his Crown Royal.
And it used to be like that. Like, you would go to court, you would have a case, and you couldn't resolve it. Everybody would go to lunch, talk about it. You come back.
Everybody do.
Everybody.
Have a sip and figure it out, right?
Yeah, figure it out. But now you're being policed by people who don't look like you, and a lot of them, quite frankly, are just passing through because Detroit got that free training for cops, so you can do that and go anywhere else. And I think we should stop. I think if they start taxing people who don't live here, that's an end run around the residency requirement. And I think we'll see a lot more of us who look like us versus.
And that's true. And not to discredit, not to put the blame on white people at all.
No, we're not bashing white people.
Right. So, just for your viewers and all that type of stuff, we're gonna keep it really 100 with this. But I tell you this, when I came on the job, and Benny Napoleon is my man.
God rest, R.I.P. Hell of a guy.
Back then, they put the black officer and the white officer together.
Makes a lot more
sense. Man, you keep, and that's how it was. That's how it was because they want nobody to be overzealous about anything, right? And be fair.
Be fair. And somebody say, man, they ain't doing nothing but selling 3 joints a day. And we're gonna waste our time.
No,
he said,
No, he.
Oh, we got it.
Okay.
I appreciate you, brother.
Appreciate you.
Yeah. So yeah, that's
Dr. Detroit's finest. Gucci down, Montclair, Gucci, Cartier buffs. They better ask somebody. Blow the whistle. That's right, blow the whistle.
Yeah, but just the whole thing, they don't mix them up, and I think that's wrong for supervision. Because you don't know where people come from. Then you don't know what their ideals are. We don't have any prejudgment. Prejudging people. When and the typical white, and I can say this, I can say it with conviction because I was in the United States Navy, man, with 300 men on one ship.
Okay.
And it was 4%, maybe 6, black.
Ooh-wee.
Hispanic, 3%. That's 9 on the boat. And we may have Middle Eastern, maybe 1%. Everybody else was white from all regions of this country. Mm-hmm. I only saw blue because of the Navy uniform was blue. They made sure that because we would took that motherfucker over, man. I'm not bullshitting New York, Detroit, especially St. Louis, St. Louis, tough city, man, rough city. So give shouts out.
Country boys, shout out. Oh, country boys, you don't have to mess with them country boys. Country boys violent.
Yeah. So, but we we in the jail, man, with them. So I know. He said, man, we never even knew anything about black people.
They've been honest.
Yeah.
I remember my first roommate at high school. She was, because I stayed on campus.
Oh,
She
my. Residency at Cranbrook. Oh, my. Full scholarship?
So,
Already now.
but I remember her asking
Campus
me,
in high school. Like, guys. You stayed on campus in high school.
from Detroit, though.
That's
for
it.
real. But I remember.
Which city limits is 8 Mile.
Right.
Which is different than Long Lake. I digress. I'm sorry.
Actually, Lone.
Long Pine, thank you. That's even north of Long Lake. Thank you very much. They got ducks. They got swans and ducks. They got birds. It's like you see the sign that say Cranbrook, and then you gotta drive like another mile before you even get there. That's when y'all get lost, Negroes. They got a whole mile driveway just to give you room to turn around. Have you not figured out you're not supposed to be here?
Shouts out to what?
To Cranes. The Cranes, right?
Yeah, River Cranes. Yeah.
Cranes, that's right. All right, I'm sorry. Continue.
But she asked me how often do I wash my hair, because the only other black girl she knew only washed her hair once a month.
Oh, my.
Actually, that's not too off, though. They say you shouldn't wash your hair that many times a week.
She was not asking for hair health.
No.
No. Point is, but they don't know. That's what I'm saying. They don't know about it.
I didn't take offense to it because, she didn't know and she asked and I answered, that was cool.
They don't know, but in the policing and law enforcement world,
That's
you
the problem.
don't know about a culture.
You will find out. I mean, well, if you're working with them, but outside of that, they don't. They stereotype. Racial profile.
I mean, if you think about it, everyone does it. Because there are some black people who, depending on where you live and where you go to school, who haven't been around white people. Like, one thing I loved about Howard was if I didn't want to deal with white people, I didn't have to.
Sure.
They weren't in my neighborhood around my school. They really weren't on my campus like that. And they weren't in my dorms. And yeah, they weren't the faculty. The only time I had to deal with them is if I decided to go to the mall in Virginia or Maryland.
Silver Springs, I bet. Yes. Yeah. But so a lot of this, I think, and these are the discussions we got to have among in our
leaders, for sure.
Leaders for sure in our community, and people who have platforms like this. I think sometimes some of the issues in our community got so deep. That's why when you look at YouTube and a lot of these platforms, it's all jumbo rhetoric, madness. You got grown folks having teenage conversations because it's deep if you really start talking about what's going on in our community.
Yeah.
But I don't think we conduct it anymore. So tell us a little bit, GQ, about Gang Squad and about Detroit Police Reserve.
Okay, Police Reserve. The last time I was on the air with you, I outside of talking to Charlie Langton about what it is I could do, because I'm still here in the city. I love the city for sure. My family's still here. So the police reserves are at a restriction. They work with the police. They have police powers. However, they can't act unless they're with
Police
officers. So, just the everyday shaking and baking is kind of limited, which I can respect that. But I figured that coming out there and I want to use this not only just to get myself back out there and lose a little weight too. I got to go to the academy and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I got to go to the academy again and stuff like that.
Wow. Okay.
And also to just get a little bit more in tune with the police aspect and how it interacts with the youth.
And this is my only problem with the police.
Only problem?
Well,
Well, you
biggest
quite
problem. My biggest problem with the police. I went to a black law enforcement event a few years ago, and someone who was in charge of doing the MCO's curriculum said she wanted to meet with defense attorneys to teach police officers more about probable cause and basically how to avoid unconstitutional situations.
Right.
We exchanged contact information. I emailed this individual, never heard from him.
I can say that. You know, the dog that point show.
Not really trying to make change, but just
Right.
want to make speeches about it.
You know, you have to return phone calls. You have to do that. I mean, in any.
It was an email. It was a phone.
Well, I mean, you have to email. You have to. I don't believe in email. I really don't. Call me on the phone.
Don't get me started. We have a culture. No, we do have a cultural issue with follow up and protocol.
Right.
And protocol.
Yeah.
We do. I mean, that's something
We
that
do. You know, it's bad.
we in our community. Because I'll be like, well, I didn't call you to ask you, did you see yesterday's episode of Power? I don't call you for stuff like that. So, but we just got to get better at that.
We got to get
better at that. Follow up is really important.
Communication is key. So,
I mean,
getting back to the police reservist thing, I'm doing it really for myself too, you know, to get myself back in tune. Because I don't want to just see Detroit as a pass-by, man. You're just driving down, you seeing things that may not always be right. I just don't want people to see Detroit in that light. You know what I'm saying? Because you got to interact with people. You don't know what's going on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're going to see a man or a woman just by the circumstances of 1 or 2 seconds or 1 or 2 minutes. So just getting back into that light, of course, and I'm going to meet some resistance for sure. And that's fine too. But that's why I want to get back into that police reserve. And I call all my friends and they say, you crazy as hell, man.
Well,
The gang squad guys, I call them, I say, hey man, we got to go back. For what? We got to go back because they need some help down there.
we're gonna have to think a little crazy and a little out the box if we really want to impact this change.
Yeah.
You ready to make a political or announcement here? Or we're gonna save that for later, or for future plans.
We can save it for later, but I am interested in running for judge one day.
You hear that, Detroit?
Hear that, Detroit? Right? Remember that name, Danian Woodson.
Cranbrook girl.
Cranbrook girl from Northwest Detroit that lived on campus.
How many?
Very. I was waiting on the Simpton bus to give me the Shrine High at 13 where I had to stand outside in the cold.
13 in Woodward. Okay, so you're only a few miles away.
And actually, the freshman year, I was getting dropped off by my sister on her way up a little bit, just a little bit. She dropped me off at 13 while to work her way up to Long Island.
Right. So hey, if you
That's how I know about the ducks.
Yeah.
about the Ducks.
Oh, so you know about the lakes too.
I know about the lakes. Actually, truth be told, I went to summer school in Prince
Okay.
for you. Truth be told.
Why do we always do it?
Truth. Yeah. I don't know.
But let me ask you for sure, because coming out hard.
Look,
What can you
wanna say
tell?
it like that.
What can you? No, coming out party. Like you coming out party to the.
I just want to respect
Let's
that
clarify.
community.
Let's clarify.
What I'm saying,
No
Detroit-
offense to that community. I just don't want to offend that community because
Well, she's never been on the podcast.
there are certain terms of art.
What is this?
That's all.
Yes.
Boss
And
Your
Big Boss Filmworks Company, Motown Mafia podcast, and being that I'm very scared of those people taking my money, we have to clarify those kind of things because those people take your money in today's world. And I'm your friend. And anything I have said in the past that could have been misconstrued as me not understanding that community's plight, I am so sorry.
So I guess we say debut.
Debut. Yeah.
The debut. I mean, anything that you have to tell because you're gonna blow up after this.
Well,
And she's a good attorney. She's a good. I won't give her a 10 just yet. I'll give her an 8. She's in my top 10
For sure. Okay, well, that's it.
top 10 within the top 10
Okay.
in the Metro Detroit area. So if you get into trouble, she's good at domestic violence.
So you're a busy woman in this town.
He hit me, you know.
Oh, you busy.
You know,
You
so-
busier than I be at the honey factory.
So I killed him.
Right. He hit me, so I shot him. Welcome to Detroit. But honey, did you have to shoot him 8 times? The nigga kept moving. And
Yeah, I was scared.
I was scared. And we got automatic weapons.
So look her up.
No, I definitely will have you back here.
Yeah.
Because we didn't get a chance to talk about the conversation we wanted. We got to bring her back because we're going to do a whole conversation we wanted to do on why women date
Cops.
why they date the narcotics officer
Right.
and the narcotics dealer.
That's right. On the next one, y'all.
What is it in the...
What's happening?
I think it depends on if it's a translation
Well, we give a
from the officer to the narcotics dealer or from the narcotics dealer to the officer. I think there are different motivations there, but some of the reasons are the same.
Okay, well, they got the little preview. We're going to have her unpack that.
Over the conduct for sure. Him and get back with us.
And the feminine persuasion. Feminine coming up. Well, this has been awesome, guys. And obviously, we want to do a lot more of this kind of stuff.
Yo, thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you for coming. Thank you for putting this together, GQ.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
So yeah, we got some stuff coming. We're gonna figure out some stuff to bring some people from GQ's Gang Squad.
Oh, yeah.
And some people from off the block with me.
Nice.
I'll be nice to see you.
Yeah, they
What we
got
call the CB? Cop
crooks and cops, or cops and crooks.
the game versus the law.
The game versus the law. All right.
A lot of similarities.
The law and yeah, it just is a different time. But I think as we were saying off camera, a lot of the answers to what we do, we're gonna have to go back to the future. To go move forward, we're gonna have to learn some things from the past.
Pick up some gems that we dropped along
The way, and if we're going in the wrong direction, we got to be man and woman enough to say, this isn't working.
It's time to do something.
It's time to do something different.
In relationships, too.
And I mean, well,
Yeah, and that's part of the
Right.
transition and stuff.
stuff. I mean, relationships, because some of the stuff we were talking about off camera, the what happens to a culture when your female population, the black woman's income keeps going up, and the black man and black male income, and then you got not the ability to provide and protect. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's
You know who was doing a good job on that? Kevin Samuels.
God rest his soul.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
I
Yes.
see. I really liked a lot of the things.
So we definitely got to have you back and chop up some of the Kevin. Brother Lou there turned me on to Kevin about 3 years ago.
Yeah.
3 years ago.
Yeah.
I think it was so neat. I think that's why he blew up so quick, because the things he was saying were so
Profound.
and needed to be
They
said.
really did. And I liked him because a lot of people bashed him for just getting on women. Well, I saw a few clips where he got on men too. I think he was equal opportunity.
He was. Well, you're not the woman that he was talking about, but because you would bring a lot to offer to a relationship, but there is a lot of delusion
Oh yeah.
in our community.
Yeah. But y'all started that. Y'all did. I talked to my male friends about this all the time. When y'all started that evolution by making fat chicks feel like they were thick,
Oh.
y'all opened up a can of worms.
No, wait a
Closed
minute.
them.
No.
And that,
No, see, okay. No.
Oh, it
So
started
me,
there.
me.
It started
Let me
there.
just say this.
And then also y'all empowered hoes. Y'all started wifing hoes. When y'all started wifing hoes
Oh, we got to follow up on
and
this.
fat chicks, everybody wanted to become fat, and if they weren't skinny, they went to go buy some fat to put on them, and everybody started acting like a hoe. That's when the evolution of pole dancing classes became big. Remember the 90s and the 2000s? Everybody wanted to do a pole
This goes
dancing
back-
class. All the strippers decided to come out and be pole dance teachers. Now they doing chicken dinners. You know, it's
Okay, I don't know what happened. Black women, by genetic history, have always been thick,
Yeah,
and I don't know what happened. And I guess
but there was
it was
fit.
it was what they call an incremental decline. Somehow
There used to be a store at Fairlane called 579. I don't know if y'all remember that. If you want a size 5, 7, or 9, your ass didn't need to be in that damn store. They don't have stores like that no more. Now, whether you a 2 or a 20, you can find the same fucking outfit.
See,
And you will have some twins that will put on their size 2 dress and walk out. And some niggas will be like, oh,
you are not.
let me pick her up.
You are not.
And back in the day, they would just say sis, or if they didn't want to say sis, they would say it by not giving her that attention that she was seeking.
Right.
Now y'all treat the 3 a.m. bitches like the 9 o'clock bitches.
That's just the brothers that fell off. We gotta unpack all of this. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back next week to follow this up. And I'm gonna try my best to defend it. No, you're right, but check this out. If you weigh the same weight as the linebacker for your local football team.
But y'all wifing these people, y'all making them think they just thick. Oh, baby, you just thick. You don't need to go to the gym. Cook me something to eat.
They don't know they don't know how to cook. They eat out all the time, which is half the reason why they weigh the same as the upper
Go
thought.
for walks on dates. You know, that's Detroit niggas don't want to go for a walk. They fuck.
We go for a ride.
So that's why
We can ride that out though.
Take gorilla looking.
We can ride Bell out though.
And that's why some of these women looking for white men, they want to get healthy. Y'all don't want to get them healthy.
But no, Kevin Sams told you, as a business black man that does a lot of business with white men, if Bertha and them is waiting on Charlie and Jody and Bucky to come save them,
I agree.
they're gonna be waiting. They're gonna be waiting. And as far as it's multifaceted to turning hoes into housewives.
Y'all do it though. I'll do it.
There's gonna be a disastrous outcome.
Y'all don't necessarily.
That means that's family breakdown.
Y'all treat them like wives. Y'all will spend your whole check at the
See, no. See, this is
your whole check.
See, we
You
gonna
used to stop at the house.
let me help.
The wife would give you an allowance to do whatever the fuck you wanted to do. Just come home and take care of the kids sometimes.
I'm gonna be real.
Now y'all don't even come home.
No, see, that's what I'm saying. No, this is
Then you like this at the end of the night.
this is real. This is real. My day, guys in the street, because I mean, you had your woman, and then you had your girlfriend,
Yeah.
and then you had your broads, right?
Mm-hmm.
Those never like your girlfriend. I'm not leaving my wife for you.
See y'all talk for women up.
You're not. I'm not leaving my wife with you. And right.
But then y'all started messing up the game because y'all did start leaving your wives for some of these.
Well, see, it was suckers.
different
Those were
too.
suckers.
Yeah.
Suckers, and then
Y'all let them take over.
and what it's
Y'all let suckers and haters take over. the
suckers and
game.
haters, perpetuated by social media. Perpetuated by it's like they feel what my man was saying in the joint. Now the rats that overran the rats have overrun the joint, and the suck it is. But that's what Kevin Samuel was saying. What they call them simps or sippers or something. Simpers, just you know what I'm saying? Because I don't be understanding half the problem. Because like people, why you shouldn't let women talk to you like you shouldn't let people talk to you like that.
Mm-hmm.
But roles are roles. People today's society buck roles or traditional roles.
Right.
But roles of what creates order.
Yeah. Got out of order.
I can only speak for me and mine. You know, from the arcade days.
Yeah.
I like strippers and whores
I know.
in their right setting. In their right setting.
But y'all decided to take the streets to the house.
But
the house
since you probably don't want your daughter to grow up to be on OnlyFans, most men in the regular world, you understood that, you know, at least she's got to have 10 to 15 years clean from the pole.
Mm-hmm.
She hasn't touched the pole. She hasn't touched the pole for 10 or 15 years. She's completely went to the pole treatment center. She done went to dance. She done went to dancer rehab.
Oh, you know what it is? It's the evolution of the simps. See, everybody doesn't necessarily want to be the street dude, but they want that street persona. So when you started having simps who were making money and they could go to the strip club and make it rain just like the Dope Boy did, but they're a little bit more legit, and they have these strippers on the pedestal because these are women that they couldn't get before. So now they're wifing up these strippers, and y'all got to keep up because y'all can't let the simps outdo y'all, right?
No, I'd be the one. I was the one that they would be like, Daddy, this silly guy just sent me $1,500. And I'd be like, that nigga sent you $1,500 for what? He just loved me. I just drove a little bit of my titty, and he sends me $1,500. And I would be like, they'd be like, Daddy, these niggas are silly. And then I would quote Biggie Small, for all the honeys get money playing niggas like dummies. Go ahead, baby. But it is, man, but they took over. You're right.
Yeah.
They took over.
And see, one thing about street dudes is they don't want to be outstunted.
No.
So,
Least of all by a square.
and that's what happened.
But we used to do it as like,
Okay.
again, I know it sounds like the Stone Age. In our days, we were throwing away the money to compete with each other. It wasn't really even about the girl.
I know, yeah, it was a status.
It was we got to show we get more money.
Like the Rick Ross car show. You're like really going to see his cars, but they want to be able to say I paid $500 and I was at Rick Ross's house and I saw it.
They don't know. Rick Ross and DJ Envy, y'all cut that shit out. I said, both you niggas getting all that money, man, and behaving like kids. Both y'all both all right with
But
me.
you know who's eating all
Y'all
that
need
shit?
to shit. Y'all cut that shit
But
out.
see, is the classic dark skin, light skin dichotomy. And who was eating off of it? All of these Jewish and white television shows and broadcasts. They keep
Yeah, y'all both better than that. So I ain't gonna pick no sides. But Boss Ross, Ricky Rose, you know better, and Envy, y'all know better. Y'all cut that shit out, man. It's not a good look. It's not. It's not a good look at all. And it probably we can get into a whole thing of colorism that still exists in our community too.
Of course. Yeah. But we gonna talk about how y'all be wifing these wrong ones out
Right.
here and
But they
there's so much dispersion in our community.
But no, I'm telling you, it's a vicious cycle now.
Yeah.
Because with the you got the women, they don't got no man around. They're producing these sons.
But see, y'all started that.
What did Kanye say?
Can I go?
Hater women marry hater niggas and create hater kids.
But y'all started that because some of y'all were having kids with these broads, as you called them, but because they weren't your mains, you left the broads to raise them.
See that?
And then that became a whole nother cycle in and of itself of generations of kids without guidance or real root.
See that? Because that's what happens when simps have
Okay. Well,
babies out of way. Right? Because street guys, like, it just, after that, you know what? Mom, wifey, I got really bad news.
She wants that.
We about to have a baby and you ain't pregnant. We about to have a baby, but you ain't pregnant. Because shit happens. Because street guys never really felt that they had to hide the fact that they had another family. So therefore you don't have to abandon your other family. But if you're not man enough just to come to your wife or significant other and be like, shit done went south. I don't need the speech should have wore rubber. She should have been, but it's too late now. 9 months from now, the package gonna be here, and it is what it is. But if you're not that kind of character man,
But it kind of goes back into what we were talking about when women's status and money is on the rise. Now, she needs you less to provide and protect for her than
Meet up with you.
somebody else. And so it's easier for her to say, what can I do with her?
and then you get
Now you're trying to figure out how to keep her.
Okay, so yep.
And if she said, I don't want to deal with that, I don't want to see this constant kid as a reminder, it's like, okay, well, they don't have to come stay with us, but I still have to be a father to my kid.
Yeah, I guess that's where sometimes the world that I know and the world I live in gets different because I'm from the world where black men were the providers.
Mm-hmm.
And I can let you young guys in on a secret. It is true. If you pay the cost, you can be the boss.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But if you're not paying the cost, it's going to get difficult to be the boss.
Yeah, especially depending on the type of woman you have. Like if you have a woman who, as long as the bills are being paid and we're both contributing to the household, it doesn't matter if I'm doing 60 and you're only doing 40, we're both giving our all. It is what it is. Now there are some women who live by that and still empower and feed into their man and provide and nurture him as a black man and treats him like the king that he is. There are some women who, that same division, they feel like that means that they're the man of the household. So they start bitching their husband or their significant other. And I think that's when you start having breakdowns in not only men-women communication, but also family dynamics, because your son doesn't want to be the type of man that gets bitched by his wife, and your daughter doesn't want the type of man that she can run over.
Run over, right. and yes, so it's a lot. It's a lot. You just teased you guys a little bit. Part two.
I'm guaranteeing my spot.
Well, you guarantee your spot. No, you got some great insights, and it's needed, and people will just have to be real. And then, unfortunately, when Kevin transitioned, a lot of the conversation that was starting,
didn't
get had. And it is important that I don't know when a guy working and doing his best stop being enough.
Whew, that's a different.
That's it. But I think it's probably right around that your generation, and what nobody was talking about. There could have been other factors or societal influences that wanted to see.
Oh yeah.
This division.
Okay, everyone who benefits off of it, which is pretty much every other community but ours.
Right. You mean it's not good for the black community for black women to spend $15 billion a year on fake hair?
No, because we aren't spending it within our own community on our own hair company. We people that buying bundles or selling bundles, they're working for someone else. Until we have ownership in our own stuff, we need to stop being so quick to spend money elsewhere. Yeah. That's why I like Aretha Franklin. She made it her business to do business with black people first.
God bless her. Mm-hmm. Shout out to Mr. Choi, my Korean Connect. We tried, me and my good business associate, Mr. Choi, a real guy that he says when he came to this place, he said, "Oh, Mr. Brown, I don't understand. Many black women buy their hair. No black people sell their hair. Mm-hmm. Oh, something very wrong."
Mm-hmm. Do a shout out to Tina Turner.
R.I.P. to Tina Turner. Yes. And happy birthday to my brother, D. Gordon, you out there out of Inkster, one of Inkster's finest, Darren Gordon, lifelong friend. Shout out to her. But yeah, shout out to Tina. Oh,
and happy birthday to Carmelita Johnson, my boyfriend's grandma.
Okay, all right. Awesome. Yeah, Tina, it was to see the dysfunction she came up with and the way she was able, inspiration in life to turn her life around mid-course, and she went out on top. Mm-hmm. She's got her place in the history books.
She was so iconic.
And her theme song I have used much through my adult life. When somebody tells me, what does love have to do with this? But I love, what's that got to do with this? It's all that is the she something up. Well, thank you again.
Thank you,
Attorney Whitson. I appreciate you. We're gonna have you back on the pod. You down?
Yes, I am.
You're down. Awesome. Again. All right. Make sure you guys are hitting the like, share, and subscribe button out there. I ain't gonna even tease y'all and tell y'all, but it's true. First of all, if you have not check out, go through our library, The Making of the Mafia, how all this stuff got started at Big Boss Filmworks. That doc is out. We are really actually in the pre-production for Motown Mafia Part 2. So for real, I wouldn't say it if it wasn't true. As we said about the movie, we going down that tube. As I told you guys, though, we're going to have to hire some people to fire some people. Maybe we firing some people before we hire some people. I don't know. But that's going to happen too, family. Brother GQ, he going to be back on the set. Anything else? Oh, shout out to Vano's Apparel over there. Shout out to Vano's Apparel and Blazing Hookah Shop. We got any other housekeeping work, Lou?
Well, I think that's.
Oh, if you guys are in town, there's a Black Film Festival going on down in Greektown. Yeah. The BIAA.
I believe that's it. Yeah. Darren Brown.
Darren Brown, check that out. Darren Brown Film Festival, BIAA. All the Detroit filmmakers are down there. We might pop in and grace our appearance, maybe, or we may put them on punishment. Sure.
That's gonna be a good week.
Not sure how that's gonna play out.
Detroit is for sure.
We do holidays well in this time.
Yeah, we do.
We do holidays well.
And for the young.
Well, that goes back to what we're talking about. Detroit always does it big.
That's right. We need all the ribs.
Right.
And all the fireworks.
All the fireworks.
Underneath some resistance, man.
Well, you gotta that mean how you doing then?
Get rid of that chief of police, man. He's a nice guy, man. He's a nice guy, but he's soft. Too soft.
You know, you got to have a police chief in today's time.
That's right.
That ain't political.
That's right. That's right. Chief Hart was a good man. He stayed too long though, CP.
Yeah.
I was throwing out of narcotics 3 motherfucking times. When up to God. I was thrown out of that 3 times, man.
They all stay too long.
Yeah, you can't stay.
Everybody, you get too
They come one in.
You get too comfortable with the money. Then you start thinking about what you got in the bank, what you got in the pit. And then you say,
Why can't you be like?
I might as well hit one more lick.
That's it. So
Might as well hit one more lick before I get out. Right. And then always be that one more lick
that'll get you.
that gets you.
Yeah. Some attorneys. I forgot. Off jobs like that. She was working for one of those big law firms too.
I'm going to get the spelling in your name because I don't want to butcher it, you know, and you know.
You call it Dane.
DANIEN.
So trademarking and branding. I called somebody.
No, you call Jalen?
I did. She said she couldn't really help me. She shouldn't really help. So how do you brand something? How do you?
I get in touch with my trademark bro.
Yeah, right. Okay, yeah,
Yes. Yes.
So,
Yes.
and I'm gonna do something with you, man. BMF versus YBI. The jackets.
Like you're saying, put all the crews on one jacket.
I think that would be nice. I think that
Well,
would.
we gonna sell them jackets for $1,000.
You have to because we don't want it if it don't cost
That's
$1,000.
right. That real good leather.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that would be.
Okay. And then we can throw a party. Me and Timmy Peoples, he got a baby by my cousin. Yeah, and that's my man. I've been knowing him since I was 7 years old. Good man too. Raymond, all of them.
R.I.P. Yeah, Bush had issues.
Herbie, you know, we tight, man.
Yeah.
You know, the story, that story about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, man.
And Herbie's dad and Eddie were close.
Woo!
Oh, he man, there's so much money.
Come put your.
They man, that number, but them there ain't so much
He hit
money.
his house at about 3 or 4 million.
Million at the crib. At the
Because you know it's right.
at the, I know that. Yeah. Now that man was giving money.
But they hit it not because McNamara, after McNamara, dirty motherfucker, but he's a good guy. He taught me everything I knew about moving around in narcotics, right?
Okay.
Arthur McNamara, he had the feds, they were tight. Anytime he put us on the practice, the feds used to give it to him. Hey man, we looking at CB Jones. Here,
There you go.
I already got the information. You the prosecutor signed it.
That's how it was. The Instagram. But you had some live on Instagram.
They would keep him with big hits, man. He wasn't following motherfuckers around like I was. I was gonna get 100. You know, he hit the motherfucker with 2 or 3 million, man. I wasn't doing it. I was a New Jack cop. You know what I'm saying? We hit you for 8. That's why we kept going to Fresno Road.
Yeah.
With the aid of Artemis and shit, man, we drinking my motherfucking ass.
That's a long Y'all had good sources on this album. We knew. That's why we always tried to take care of the addicts over there, because
Yeah, it was too many.
when GQ and them ask y'all who they hit, don't say us. Here, you got one free.
Yep.
You ain't got to pay. Because that nigga who told you no over $5, you tell on him. Don't tell on me.
Was it Maccabee, Wick, and Garland right up in there?
Yeah.
You remember that store? It's cleaned up now.
Yeah.
I had the little tire shop.
Yeah, who's
Yeah,
that?
we got a lot of informants over there, man, with one rock. They tell 'em, you got to treat people right.
Got to treat people right.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, we'll do a whole thing on that. Like, so many young guys, I used to tell them, look, man, what in the world are you threatening that man for over $8? And we just made $8,000 this hour.
Yeah.
What is on your mind?
Right.
And if you beat him up, somebody gonna call the police. Then the police gonna be here.
You don't know who attached them and who know who.
You don't know. Is that crackhead's uncle is a lieutenant?
Yeah. All it is a phone call.
And now all of a sudden he get a call from his sister. You know what you know good niggas did to your nephew? You know he got problems. They beat him real bad. Oh, they did, huh?
Now you shut down.
Oh, they did, huh? Yes. Now you got a problem. Now you got a problem.
Because I'm going to tell you something. We're going to find something on them. We're going to find it.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to find it.
So you gotta keep y'all out your cars. Out your...
Yeah, it's a way. It's a,
Better go and buy some of them motherfucking, like you said, them ball tickets. And she and I, we gonna come up with something.
police used to know. I don't even know. I don't know how many police leagues I done sponsored that ain't nobody played no game. We doing something for the kids.
Right.
Oh, you gonna help? I know you know it.
Right.
It was a friendly shakedown. It's a friendly shakedown. We take about 20 of them kids to Belle Isle. We got to buy hot dogs, hamburgers, gas. The kids need T-shirts.
But that was the cost of doing business.
Yeah, so you would know.
Very young, knew it.
Yeah, we can count on your support. Yeah, man, hit your hip. Yeah, you got it. Yeah, make sure the kids, take care of the kids, man. Yeah. And then hit you with, and then we got the policeman ball coming. Oh, yeah, okay, that's the other pocket. Yeah, all right. See you a couple months. We'll see you a couple months. You done bought some free chief. You done bought some, hey.
See, you know how to get in contact with me.
Yeah.
Really told
Oh, that crew there, man, Archer, all of them, yeah. The NAACP convention or fundraiser coming up. Those are expensive tickets, Courtney. Boy, I'd like to take my wife to that. That's how they say. They don't tell you this.
talk about that.
Yeah, they just say, yeah,
Boy,
man,
and
that NAACP dinner is so nice.
You got to call that dry bag.
Dry bag. My wife really want to go. But I only make $82,000 a year, man. I can't be buying no $1,000 ticket. But I don't even know how I'm gonna pull that up because I didn't promise that we was going this year.
Been promising.
How your business doing, Courtney?
That's funny.
Yeah,
It's true though.
Yeah, next time you see that man, you know what, man? I just was thinking, man, he got a couple of tickets to that NAACP fundraiser. Oh, you so cool. I appreciate it. No, it's not you back too much. And he said, that's right.
Well, that's your boyfriend coming up in here.
No, that's one of my clients.
One of your clients. You got a lot of stories too, don't you? One of your clients, huh?
Oh, the lawyers, no.
He's one of my first retained clients.
I bet he is.
You gotta pay the lawyer.
Go ahead. Yeah, make sure he pay you.
Gotta pay the lawyer. Because messing with job, man, that damn fisherman, man, $1,500 every writ. Because they could be like,
no risk no more, I'm so mad.
No. Oh, that was so much money on that.
I undercut everybody on risk. So that's how I started making my money. Then they got the risks out. I just said $50,000.
Oh, yeah, you killed him.
Oh, yeah, fisherman and shark was $1,500 every rip. Every rip.
And Carl Jordan, I'm talking about 25. I said, man, fuck out of here. I made his punk ass too. I made that boy. It wasn't shit.
Have you seen his business cards? He puts that one case that his claim to fame.
Yeah, like I ain't talking. I'm talking.
It's the truth.
I'm not talking about it.
Right.
Yeah.
CB. We were getting cases every day, man. And they he was, all these lawyers, they wasn't nobodies, man. If you didn't have a big name for yourself, like the Chamber guy, and May God rest Marvin Barnett had a pretty good reputation. Cornelius Pitts,
Culpepper, and
But man, we hit them houses, man. 2 rocks. One in your pocket and one in your pocket. We split the case up on your ass.
Oh,
that's how it was.
I remember Upshaw was kicking me because he thought I talked too proper. And I would be like, officer, where the dope at? Officer, I don't know what you think about. Say it again. Sir, say sir one more time. And he was like, ooh, how don't I have no dope? I keep dope on me just to plan on people like you.
Now, see, he did that. Hey, he did that from somebody else on the street, and he'll bring it into your... we didn't do that. We'll find it in the ceiling and say, guess what? It's yours. And L's, the producer.
No, they used to take it.
They used to take it, and that's wrong.
From B-Wick and then
so the guys was like, they used to see us in the hallway. They really didn't say that. It's about 1,000 of us and maybe 2 of them. They better not get smart, nothing like that. But they would look like, man, why you had to do that? Motherfucker, That's the game.
The game is the game.
Game is, you know it's yours.
The game is the game.
And we put it in your goddamn pocket.
Yeah, the game is the
Real.
game.
Now, that's not wrong.
The game is
It's
the
the
game.
ethics of it. Yeah, it's the game.
Yeah.
So they wasn't mad at me, but they were like, man, you dirty mother.
Different than white. Like, I had my Officer White in his cook. I didn't. Sergeant White.
Sergeant White. He a hell of a cop, though.
Huh?
I can't throw my man on the
I know you're not gonna throw him under the bus, but I am with his little cut and paste police report. They go cut and paste from another police report and put this shit on my, and then I see the copy line on
Yeah. He went through 30 years of that shit.
until I got there and he retired after I thought.
Yeah, he retired in Arizona.
Is he?
Yeah, Arizona. You know, Andrew White. Oh, everything like
Oh, I know. And like you said, those forfeitures, it's killing us on them forfeitures, man.
Sometimes they wouldn't even take you to jail. They would just
No
waiting
paperwork.
on the street. On Mac, I said, man, fuck a tank. If there's some dope, we find a little bit of weed. We taking everybody's money. We used to do it.
No
I mean,
paperwork.
you know,
Yeah, no paperwork. No receipt.
we give them a ticket. Hey, we gonna forfeit you. Some of them, hey man, I don't want to be by.
I was fooling up when I was real young in Highland Park, and I asked the boy, I said, well, where the receipt at for what you taking from me? He gave me, he said, what did you just say? I didn't say nothing.
Right.
I said nothing.
Because man, you know,
Because he gave me like, oh, you trying to go to jail today, ain't it? I said, what the hell with that watch, man? I said
the
nothing.
back then.
I need that back.
No.
Or when they want their phone back after the cops didn't had it for like months.
They don't know.
Why do you
Oh,
want that? I don't know
no.
about
No, you keep that phone, and I'm selling that car. If you take that car out of my possession, I'm selling it tomorrow. Because I assume that.
None of that now.
I heard about who wanted their stuff back. It made sense. The cops left the weed in the car that they charged them with. So when he got his car, the income and the weed was still here. Now that means
No, that I did that too. I did that too. I had some shit in the stash, and I was like, we got to get that vehicle back because they didn't find it in the stash, and I do need.
I mean,
But as soon as I get that car back,
are there any podcasts like what we just did? I don't see that.
not really, not keeping it that real. That's why we're doing what we're doing.
I like
That platform there will grow.
Yeah.
Because no.
Appreciate you from a female's perspective.
Yeah, you need.
Thank you. I appreciate it. That was fun. Yeah.
And that's what we don't know.
And the advertisers know that black women are great consumers, and so therefore having a female presence helps the platform.
Thank you.
Why do cops date the defense attorneys?
Oh, y'all know why y'all did.
Yeah.
That should be happening too.
I mean, so much, and this is what I'm saying. If people would just keep it real,
Cute with them, man.
right? Like a cop who don't do something on the side, I'm gonna say, man, you's the fool. If you gonna look at me get all this money, and you gonna play it 100% by the book, you a fool.
Ain't no anywhere. And some of my friends, they got a little extra $50 to $100 on the toll, and they send them to prison. The feds, I can't stand them.
The DA took.
I can't stand them motherfuckers, man.
It was three of them. They each took $3,000 from me, $90,000 at Miami International Airport. They mistaked me for my father, pulled me off a plane because I'm a junior. And when they're taking it, and if one DA is like, I'm going to buy my wife a dress, I'm going on vacation. And they said, welcome to Miami Vice. But again, the game is the game.
You got caught.
I got caught. And then they told me, they said, just tell your pops that we said hi.
Yeah.
Tell your dad we said hi. Now, the fact they took more money, I mean, the fact of the matter is they were wrong, but they weren't wrong.
Right.
I was about to take money out the country to do illicit
Want this laundry?
purposes. Hey, right now, do you really want this money laundering case? And when we called the lawyer, because I had, of course, told my pops and then what happened, they said, well, I did debrief with the lawyer to make sure to find out, was this a one-off or has our whole situation been compromised? And he said, look, young man, because I had just started working for the family, and he said, look, young man, I'm not, he said, I'm not bailing you out from Dade County.
Right.
He said, usually your father's friends when they get caught down here, they're calling me to post bond. That money's gone. The cops took it. The VA took it.
Gone as an L.
Right. From their perspective, you wasted their time, and they know you're a crook.
Right.
And that's the real part. I know I'm a crook.
Yeah.
I get on
You know I'm a crook.
CB Junior. I hear about these icons of urban America during the dope game.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't talk like you, man. They don't tell they do not tell the story of what they did. I mean, they will tell the story, but they don't have any humility about it the way you.
Maybe they just had an opinion. And I tell people a lot of times.
Don't, motherfucker, you. I mean, you did something wrong, man. You did something wrong. I mean, you've done something wrong, so don't throw the cops on.
I always say because I was a second generation hustler.
Yeah.
You know, I grew up knowing what a conspiracy was at 8 years old because my father and them were in the middle of a full-scale conspiracy. I understand. See, I deal with the people deal. I know you can get 20 years. I never had to get caught with dope. A conspiracy is a conspiracy, and I knew that. I knew at 10 that they can get an indictment on a ham sandwich.
Just seeing that, that's another thing that they did to target minorities and people of color. Because back then, Italians weren't considered white folk.
Right. Those conspiracy laws and RICO laws were made for Italians who are not considered white folks. But just like the special laws they made for us, they made special laws for them. But yeah, because I think of that, popping them, that was the whole scam. It's segregation down country folk. We doing wrong. Our job is not to get caught. Their job is to catch us. Ain't no sense in being
mad when
mad
plays out the way it plays out.
Popping them told me you got 3 outcomes if you decide to work with us. You're gonna either get rich, you're gonna go to jail, or you're gonna get killed.
That's true.
Some
or get turned out.
Some people in this game, all 3 happens to them.
Yeah.
Some people, only 2 out of the 3 happens. And the very small few, only one, they just get rich. They never get hurt, and they never go to jail. So Pops, when he told me he had to go sit down, he was like, this comes with my job. Well, I'm not mad at it. I ain't mad.
He had ethics.
Yeah, right. He's like, I know. Look at how we've been living for the last 10 years. That's why these white folks put me in jail.
Right.
They done lied and cheated and everything else. But the fact is, we are crooks.
Yeah.
And not naive enough to really believe that. Them rules apply for white folks.
Mom and Barnett.
The Constitution was
For white folks.
for white folks,
Barnett told me that, and then I don't know if you elaborate on it. He told me, he said, man, the dope man is just going to file his taxes. He said that. File the taxes on what you make. As a drug dealer. That's what he told me.
We got the
May God rest his soul.
Eddie's father, Milton Henry representing him, went on camera and showed the people he paid. This is in the 70s. You know how much money $500,000 was in the 70s? He paid $500,000 in taxes in 1 year and the IRS took his drug proceeds and called it income, and they never caught a tax evasion case or money laundering case, because what people don't know, that's the IRS point of view, is that's their problem.
Yeah.
We need revenue, our money.
Now, if you don't give us our money, we will call them.
We will call them.
But we don't want to call them.
We just need you to pay us the money.
Yeah.
And they were smart enough to be like, can we be out here living like this and then tell them white folks that we don't have any money? And that all these cars we're buying, and we're going to put them in Pookie and Grandma's name. We're going to put this Rolls Royce in Grandma's name. And SSR.
Nexus, man. It's all about Nexus. If we can't get them on a wiretap with the conspiracy, we can get them with tax evasion. With his mom and all that type of stuff. But if you file them taxes, the IRS is out of it. They can't do nothing.
You should try to break as few laws as possible. A good criminal knows you should try to break as few laws as possible, because the stuff we're doing is already enough. We don't need to be breaking. We don't need to be a tax cheat. I'm a dope man. I'm the tax cheat, I'm a killer, I'm an extortioner. No, that's, as the kids say, you're doing too much. Pick what criminal you want to be. And just do that.
And it's the American way.
Whatever you're gonna do, be good at it.
And be good at that.
American.
And be good at that. And that's where the kids of this generation has lost all of it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I gotta say, it's really participation trophy. Once you started getting credit just for showing up and not having to do shit else, that's when the world went. Started world.
This when the world and when looking like you had money became more important than having money.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Back in the day, guys, man, have all the money in the world, be in overalls and and truly have the bag. Only people who needed to know, you didn't need to impress nobody because people who knew. Those who needed to know, no, that's the man. Don't let the overalls and the old construction boots fool you. That's the guy.
Yeah.
All them guys you're impressed by, they really work for him.
Right.
Man, this was like in 2001 or 2. I got a real good tip out there in Farmington Hills. I went out there to that man's house. Home, not a house, a home. Beautiful.
Oh, I'm
He
sure.
was sitting right there, he and his wife, digging up flowers. I said, man, this motherfucker moving about 100 bricks a month. I said, and I kind of connect the dots with my informants, and I called down to Oakland County for the warrant to be signed over the phone. She respectfully denied.
She respectfully declined that.
Declined. Yeah. Declined. Yeah.
We're not doing that.
No, we ain't gonna do that.
We ain't doing that today.
That motherfucker was the biggest dope man. He had a little Jack Russell.
Oh, he really
Professional guy. Beyond reproach.
Yeah.
Farming kilos.
We don't. I tell we try to on this platform. Like you guys don't even really know what the dope man look like.
No. No.
You don't even know what the dope man look like.
Not for real. No.
No. That's like in the big picture, we were street peddlers in the big picture. For real. I was like, we wasn't that big. You could find me, you could find T. So if we was that big, how y'all find us?
Right.
We at the same club you at. What is he talking about? You can find them, they'd be right there on Friday night. The people, like you say, playing with their little Jack Russell Terriers.
I couldn't believe. Sat out there for an hour, and then they say, are you lost?
Yeah. They was. Gotta get out.
For insurance. Trying to just, watching the people down the street, just having some type of private investigator, his wife or chief. Who? I said, well, I'm not at liberty to tell you who it is, but I'm just like, he said, oh, okay. I would always call the respective police in that area to let them know what I'm out there doing surveillance, right? Just because they're going to pull up on you. They're white folks, they're going to call. Who is this black mouth, who out here in front of my house? But I was out there just watching the guy, and then I would call before I went out there. But it's just amazing, man, how we know the guns, of course, not coming from us.
No,
we know the drugs not coming really from us, in Mexico, and maybe, but that well, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. You guys ever used to go for bail bondsman? Any of your clients?
I don't know.
Y'all have a bail bond?
We used to go for it right there. The office, right across the street from the old 1300 boat bid.
Oh yeah.
Right there on the old fire, right there on the corner. That's us.
Wow, that's crazy.
No, what?
Oh, that's not there, but yeah, I've never seen that.
Chucky and Irving, they own Jewish Mafia.
Yeah.
They own everything.
I want a piece of the action. Shit, fuck it.
Chucky, the guys who owned that Chucky Go Far, he went to jail for hidden interest in Caesar's Palace Casino.
Is that right?
Yeah, the feds got so upset he wrote so many bonds.
Go Far, you ain't right about that. Huh?
Yeah, they're big time. Hey.
Where you going? Well, I'm thinking the day Friday.
To wrap up doing some things up here.
Tomorrow's Friday.
You off?
I gotta do some court stuff, but for the most part, yeah.
We can make a movie. I was like,
If they can do it.
if they can do this and it's at Blockbuster. Now, I know nothing about cinematography or nothing. I just watch movies, right? I know nothing about it. I know nothing that you have any interest in films.
No, we were in clothes,
We were
garments.
deep into the retail world and on a whole different grind.
A gentleman in some expensive clothes approached me and said, I'm Courtney Robert Brown Jr., et cetera, blah, blah, blah. And next thing you know, fast forward 11 years, and we own the $20 million block, French Road and Mac. And this just another chapter in a lot of really powerful content me and him have done, and talking about the 40-year saga of his and other families here in Detroit doing illegal things and legal things.
You can't talk about that era without talking about the biggest real name of that era, at least around here, meaning where he was in Southfield,
Right.
without talking about Eddie and Courtney.
Yeah.
And at that point, I knew about Eddie and Courtney from reading that famous front page story as a newspaper from my research, but I didn't really know the ins and outs or the particulars. And he started to school me on it. So then when I had an opportunity to hook up with the real deal Holyfield, it's like they're gonna color it up even more. And
The rest became history. So.